morning was nice. Was good. Was good. Was good. Same wavelength, right? Same wavelength. Let me see. I feel like that's a little too loud. I hope you're doing well. Very tired, I would imagine so after the gym. How about myself? I'm doing okay. Doing okay. Was busy, a little bit busier today. Had to do groceries, which is my least favorite part of food is the grocery run. But aside from that, doing okay. Doing okay. Sorry, I forgot to mute my phone. The reading, yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad. I have a fair few books, but I found that one was. Although I feel like Dr. Seuss in general is pretty good for, or interesting in a way for triggers, because there's a lot of obviously the rhymes, but they're short, usually single syllable rhymes, and they're very dynamic. I feel like surprisingly really long, right? I think most people know, or like their best, most recent introduction is people, at least the most recent I've seen anybody interacting with one fish, two fish, is through TikToks. I think some people kind of put it to a beat or something, but it's usually only like the first little bit, so you forget about the rest of it because it has nothing to do with fish. Never paid attention to, right? I think it wasn't one of my favorites. I was more of like a fox and socks, a walk it in my pocket kind of gal. Hero Academia, and then like the side story, the vigilantes, kind of in universe. But that, hello, Ultra Ken, welcome, welcome. But yeah, I think I've seen older. Yeah, I think the last time I was really more keeping up with anime, especially seasons that were coming out at the time, was around the time that Attack on Titan kind of became popular in the US. So you know, like over a decade ago. Doing well, yeah, I'm doing well, Ken. Hello, hello. Oh, you know each other. Hello, hello. I'm doing okay. Yeah, I mean, I could say that like the best anime knowledge I have is from like the early to mid 2000s. But that's even older, so I'm so embarrassed. Yes, I have. I haven't actually read the manga, so it was whatever like the original anime that they had that was out at the time. I had seen all of that. It's among my faves, if not fave. Oh, I see, I see. Now because of it being the anime adaptation, or because of like the whole story? Because I know that obviously the anime adaptations aren't going to necessarily be faithful. At least the older animations are not necessarily faithful to the manga. So then you obviously have things like Fruits Basket coming back out again, even though the anime finished, but it didn't follow the manga. You know? Until the non-spoiler point. After that, it was forced. Oh, fair enough, fair enough. Thank you for the follow, Asuka. Thank you, thank you. Asuka Mari Shin to Koki. Koki. Obviously, that's an Evangelion reference, I believe. Tukoki. I don't know about the Tukoki part. Thank you, thank you. Oh, yeah, I guess like how the manga and anime are different endings. I do enjoy. I don't mind those kinds of things so long as they do it. I don't know. Well, I feel like Soul Eater is a terrible example of how bad it could be. The original Full Metal Alchemist, maybe it's because it has a special place in my heart, was fine as far as the ending goes, as long as you don't count the movie. That movie was terrible. But I will say I loved Brotherhood as well. The problem I have with Brotherhood is that because it somewhat relies on the fact that you've seen the original, the impact of Nina and Maze Hughes is not as impactful. And I think that's what people who have not seen the original, who have only seen Brotherhood, I feel like they don't quite get the joke about when people, the fact that people are so upset about Nina and Alexander is because of the original. The Brotherhood does not do as well making you fall for those characters. So yeah, it's tragic, but it's not like decades long trauma, whereas the first, like the original Fullmetal, builds up that relationship that you care about Nina, you care about Alexander, and you care about Mace Hughes, and not in the way that Brotherhood does, in my opinion. Thank you for checking in, Brett and Ultracan. Thank you, thank you. Another one in this Code Geass ending wise. I haven't read the manga on that one, but I have seen Code Geass, although that was a while ago. Hello, Brett. How are you? Haven't watched the movie. the Conquerors of Shambhala movie, it is basically, I don't know, it kind of just retcons the ending of the original Full Metal, and it's not great. Season 2 arguably making the series good. Yeah. I'm good, better now that you're. Oh, thank you, my dear. Glad to hear it. If I can make anyone's day better, that makes me happy. But I feel like Soul Eater was one that had great potential, and they ended it, as far as the anime is concerned, absolutely terribly. Because who gives a shit about, like, the one punch of friendship? It was so bad. It was so bad. You could have had Maka rise above in so many different ways, and no, it was a punch. It was very disappointing. Yes. I do know that the manga kind of went off the rails as well. But I feel like as a whole it was pretty good. Yes, and I love the style, and I'm not gonna say no to any anime that uses TM Revolution as an intro or outro. I love his music. And, well, they had two good bands for openings and endings, because they had TM Revolution and what am I hearing? TM Revolution and Tommy Heavenly, and Japanese artists, but either way, I enjoyed them. Also, Fire Force is pretty good. That one I've seen. I've seen the first couple of seasons, I think. And I enjoyed that quite a bit, and that's the same mangaka. Yeah. I am a little bummed though. I hear, although I don't, maybe I shouldn't give it, maybe I should stop, because I don't know it for sure, so I can't verify one way or another as far as spoilers are concerned. But yeah, just that they were, I believe there was at least rumors that they are connected in some way. Fire Force's reviews, does everyone talk about fan service yet? There's barely. The only fan service they have is the worst girl character. I can't stand her. Maki is best girl. No, Maki is the older, is the buff one. She's the best girl. Tamaki is Tamaki is that girl. I can't stand it. But yeah. Tamaki. Because Maki is the buff girl. And she's the kind of woman I would like to crush my head with her thighs, or biceps, or both. And I do like their lieutenant. I do like the lieutenant. I think he's fun. Really, I like most of the characters. I'm surprised I liked Arthur. Arthur is obnoxiously stupid, but I'm okay with him. But I can't stand Tamaki. So, what do you think about Culling Games Part 1 ending? JJK, have you seen? Oh, I do hear that JJK is really good. Although it is funny because every time I see that, I keep thinking of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, even though it has nothing to do with it. But for some reason, whenever I see Jujutsu no Kaisen abbreviated, I always think JoJo. I think it's just the two J's. I like his aesthetic, yeah. I just like that he is confidently stupid. And not quite in the way that like Black Star was. Like Arthur is his own kind of stupid. I think he's kind of like a mix between like Excalibur and Black Star, but yeah. JoJo's new season is honestly really decent. Oh, thank you for checking in, Dreamer. He's an idiot, but he's strong, and he's a strong-spirited. Yes, yes, yes. He reminds me of if you've seen Clannad, the friend of the main character. His name is Sunohara. He's the blonde one, also as well. Thank you, Poop55H, for the follow. But Sunohara is that kind of stupid as well, except Sunohara is also a punching bag. So, yeah. Since I was reading and waiting to see how it would look in the anime, I like how it turned out. Ooh. Didn't think the last episode would be that good. Aww. I do need to see about finishing the Hero Academia like anime. I finished the manga and it was very disappointing to me. But I think it's because the manga started out really strong and the pacing was fantastic. If you liked the anime, especially the first couple seasons, the pacing of the manga was chef's kiss. Thank you for the follow, Firewolves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hunter x Hunter Cook the series. Oh. I never actually saw Hunter x Hunter either. There's a lot of the older ones that I hadn't seen for various reasons, because I was limited to the amount of money I had as a teenager in back before the days of Netflix and streaming services, and you would go and be beholden to whatever Blockbuster had, but you know, whatever, it's fine. Basically made it impossible to end. I mean, he could have been like Kubo. All I know about Bleach is that basically at the 20-year mark, Kubo was like, oh yeah, no, we're only about halfway done. But that, like, he could have ended the series really well so many times and then didn't, and then yeah, that it was not ended well. At least I hear. I hope I didn't. The way it's moving, I want to make sure it's not. Okay. Unkillable antagonist killable. Yeah. The only time I've seen the first episode and I was forced to watch it as a dub, and I do like Johnny Young Bosch, but that was the only redeeming voice in that episode, and I couldn't stand it, and I never again watched it. But that's because I made the stupid mistake of going to an anime club in high school. I thought it would be interesting. I was new to the school. It was not interesting. It was one of those like awkward and embarrassing by proxy things where you're like, oh god, as much as I like anime, you guys are the kind of nerds that I try and keep away from when it comes to anime nerds. Because I was, hey Shushu, Shunshu, welcome. I was one of those incognito weeaboos where I just kind of being as a nerd. I am, but I try to be incognito about it. So, like, the people who are wearing the Naruto headband I'd wear an anime t-shirt outside. Usually I don't. Especially if it's like big anime person plastered on the front. It's like, no, it has to be more incognito. I'm an incognito nerd. Anyways, even wasn't crazy. Since we get to see my Bean Dev has anime stand. I do have figurines, yes. Most of my figurines are from games, however. I'm a huge Tales of nerd. And so, yeah. I like Funko Pops. Oh, I couldn't get into those, which is fine, because what I got into was very expensive, which is the Tales of. So I like Tales of Vesperia, Tales of the Abyss, Tales of Symphonia. I have every single English release of the Tales games and multiples of some of them that have re-released, and quite a few Japanese ones as well. I don't know much about Guilty Gear, no. I got into video games really late though. I was 18 when I got my first console, so yes, I do know that the soundtrack is amazing, and it really holds up as far as I'm aware, for being older as well. I'm not sure. I can. I just don't know where. We love Bridget. Ah, yes. She's probably like the most recognizable one, right? Because that's the one, it's like in the blue. Isn't she flat-chested in the blue, almost nun-like attire? But thank you for the follow, Embryonis. Thank you, thank you. reason I haven't done like a redeem thing for or requests has been mainly because I didn't really want to be like beholden to like going down the list. Oops, sorry, or through like a set queue. Because I feel like you either like are good about getting them done, or you get behind on them and you're kind of just beholden to what the list says. Where's my other one? Oh my gosh, it's stuck. Yeah, sure, I have the Brothers Grimm like fairy tale collection. I've got Edgar Allan Poe. I've got Robert Frost. I have I'll have to go get it though, if that's the case, if people cared. But I've got the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, or Winnie the Pooh. I guess the Many Adventures is the movies. So I have Winnie the Pooh and A House at Pooh Corner. Brothers Grimm is like Harry Potter thing. No, it's like original fairy tales, like Cinderella, Hansel, Gretel, all of those. But like the actual ones. With the lore. Oh, it could be maybe. I guess I don't know J.K. Rowling's inspirations. The creepies? Jotes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the follow. Hello, hello. Wow. Thank you for the sub. Thank you, thank you. Mwah. Oh, I don't have a queue or anything. If you have recommendations or suggestions, let me know. I have lots of things nearby. About sub emotes, I don't have any. I only made 2. Although I found a model that's really pretty, and it came with some emotes, and I was very tempted by it because then I don't have to make emotes, and it would be a little bit more Twitch TOS friendly because my outfit is not very Twitch TOS friendly, but that does mean I do get a downgrade in the bosom area. So if people don't care about the bosoms as much. Hello, hamster. How are you? I like your emote. So cute. Okay, well thank you. How am I? I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. No, I like the interactive ones. Let's see. Oops. Stop. Oh my gosh. There's not very... Let's see. Thank you for the follow, Gabriel. 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 No. Northeast. The bosoms. Are they though? I don't know how to say. The bosom? Yes. The bust. The booba. Let me see. I don't know the best way to show this. We're gonna do that and hopefully not completely make a fool of ourselves. It's a window, right? I think. Oops. Let's see. Flashbang with white. But this one at least has a dress. And toggles that wouldn't get me banned, probably. Whereas if I zoom out and take off my jacket, there goes my account. Oops. That didn't work very well. similar. But yeah. Gotta be careful, I know. Oopsie. I don't need that up. But yeah, I can't. Well, I can zoom out, I think, in the model. As long, like, because I'm covered. But if the jacket comes off, then there goes that ability. Because, yeah, it is not a whole lot. It is not a whole lot under the jacket. Which is weird, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I know, I did see, an IRL streamer, wearing panties. Well, I think it was technically a bathing suit, but it's like those, like, really high, like the deep V kind of ones, where it's like, it goes really high up on the hips, but it's small in the bikini area. And I was like, oh, okay. Yup. Seen some crazy models though, especially on Twitch. I think you'll be fine. Okay. Well, I just mean that if I accidentally toggled the top. And it's really weird because for some reason this model does have nipples, but the part that's obscuring the actual full nipples is not removable. And so it's like, then what's the point of having the nipples there in the first place? Is the top that crazy? Yes. We'll sort up here. Let me see. Let me see if I can show off some of it. It just can't be. So there's like that, right? Where you have the ruffle frilly things up here, and then there's like a band that kind of goes across the midway point in the bust. And I'm afraid to move too much because it's very flouncy, but the ruffles are also removable. So like that, but the thing that goes across the middle that keeps the that keeps the naughty bits covered is not very big and does not keep very much covered. So yeah, jiggle physics, right? So if I forgot to put my jacket on, or if I bumped my thing and it came off and I like moved, it bounces so much that I'm afraid that like it would actually go like come into view when that is not my intention. And knowing how I am, it would be just my luck. Hey, you just got affiliate and now you're banned because you flashed unintentionally. It's like, no, I promise I didn't mean to. But I am really clumsy. The only thing to was were thighs. Oh. Has there been a thing on thighs recently? Thank you for the follow, Marco Sharko. Hello, Apocalyptic. Not the tops. I knew that there was stuff with the tops, but then I also knew that there was the hip debacle. I saw stuff about the hips, where people, like, their hips were showing, so their model got banned. I've seen crazy tops in their stream every day. Oh, okay. But then I did hear that something recently that maybe they aren't hips and thighs, yeah. When it got banned for thighs. Oh no! Was that crazy? Hers weren't even that bad. Oh. Is the thigh thing new, or is it something that's been kind of barest bear noodles, huh? The barest of bears. Only the bare necessity noodles. Twitch was horrible, basically corn. I see. That is me, the barest bear noodles. Now are they bear shaped or are they naked noodles? Although then they would be spelled differently. Promoted the beach and hot tub section. It was wild. Oh. Welcoming, insanely forgettable. W counter. Oh, the check-in. Yeah, the check-in and the Shy High count for the same thing. So you get 2 if you do both, but I would highly recommend just one or the other. That's where people get confused. Is noodles made by me, bear? Oh, I see. I do know I know my homonyms pretty well, but I didn't know if there was a pun on it as well. I even banned her name and deleted my chats. Any that are VR chat are basically corn at this point. I have noticed that those definitely skirt the line as well, but I think it's because they can kind of get away with it better. Gonna go home now. See you later. Goodbye, insanely forgettable. Thanks for checking in. As I am new, may I ask your stream if your stream will be going for a little bit or you raid out? I have to be very selective of who I can raid out because my account is new. So depending on who is live, we may or may not be able to raid out, but I've only been going about 40, almost less, a little bit less than an hour. I think usually about 2 hours, 2.5 is where I end up running out of steam. So I think you've got like an hour-ish, give or take, if that works. Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah. So about an hour, maybe. Just needed a bit of ASMR to do work before bed. Oh, okay, no worries. I hope you get your work done. Didn't want to tend to. Oh, fair enough, fair enough. I appreciate that though. So what kind of noodles do you make, if I may ask? Although I guess if you're working, I should let you work. So did you want like Megan Fox or not Megan Fox? Oh my god, I read. Did you want Edgar Allan Poe or the Brothers Grimm? Or I have a couple of children's books as well, but not many, as long as like the One Fish, Two Fish. poll. Let's see. Let's see. What the problem is that, well, I guess. 5 minutes? Maybe. Should I do the additional votes or just the one vote? Machinery for factory lines. Oh, I see. 2 to 3 minutes? Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll do 5. And then if it needs longer, then we'll just flip a coin or something. Thank you, Owls32 for the follow. And thank you for checking in, Mr. Nick Twist and Bear. Machinery Factory. And then you're welcome to choose a story if you would like. Or I could just open up a random page. Just working late, it's 4 AM. You should definitely rest then. I hope that you get the work that you need done. But no worries, I get time zones can be a pain in the neck. I also don't have like a set schedule either, so it's kind of whenever I'm free. Each other more. Get this work done so I can travel with a boyfriend in bed. Yeah, no worries. Best of luck with your work. Good night, good night. Mwah. I think it was called maybe Creamy Jade? Maybe not. Let's see. Creamy gasket. No. Yes. Okay. Creamy jade, yeah. Creamy gasket. Creamy jade, I guess. I don't know. It's Epo Maker TH108 keyboard. Some keyboard I got off of Amazon. another voted right at the same time. Right as I voted, Brothers Grimm stayed the same at 1, but the post story increased to 2. Oh, okay. Yes, thank you. Have a good one. Good night. Yeah, I don't know much about mechanical keyboards in general, and everything that I read, I feel like all sounded kind of alike. I don't know. I don't hear very well, which I guess is ironic. And so it was like what people explained or wrote down as far as the way that keyboard sounds. It's like, oh, I have no idea, or I don't hear it, or that sounds the same. So it was kind of like, well, I need a better keyboard because mine was just, I don't know, something I found somewhere. I don't even know where it came from at this point. And it was dying. So I was like, well, I'll get something nicer sounding. And so it was just kind of going through reviews as far as which ones sounded nice that people put like their video of. Hello, Verte. Thank you for the follow, my dear. Hello. And so yeah, I was like, well, and I'm one of those, I like a full keyboard with the number pad and then like all of that. So I got what I thought was a full keyboard, but it had the home, page up, page down, and delete, but it didn't have end, and I like having the end. So due for a new keyboard, but I like using my techwear until it's unusable. Right? So Brothers Grimm, huh? Let's see. And it's a nice like leather bound book too. So let's see. What about, should we do like a classic fairy tale? Let's see. Like Rapunzel or Hansel and Gretel. There's Cinderella. There's so many too. Let's see. Sleeping Beauty. Rumpelstiltskin. Let's see. This is where those are. Yeah. Let's see. There's course, I'm pretty sure. Where is it? Little Red Cap, page 96. Little Red Cap. Loud chair, sorry. Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her, but most of all by her grandmother, and there was nothing that she would not have given the child. Once she gave her little cap of red velvet, which suited her so well that she would never wear anything else, so she was always called Little Red Cap. Thank you, Halo Dragon, for the follow. One day her mother said to her, "Come, Little Red Cap, here is a piece of cake and a bottle of wine. Take them to your grandmother. She is ill and weak, and they will do her good. Set out before it gets hot, and when you are going, walk nicely and quietly, and do not run off the path, or you may fall and break the bottle, and then your grandmother will get nothing. And when you go into her room, don't forget to say good morning, and don't peep into every corner before you do it." "I will take great care," said Little Red Cap to her mother, and gave her hand on it. The grandmother lived out in the wood, half a league from the village, and just as Little Red Cap entered the wood, a wolf met her. Red Cap did not know what a wicked creature he was, and was not at all afraid of him. "Good day, Little Red Cap," said he. "Thank you kindly, Wolf." "Where do you go so early, Little Red Cap?" "To my grandmother's." "What have you got in your apron?" "Cake and wine. Yesterday was baking day, so poor sick grandmother is going to have something good to make her stronger." "Where does your grandmother live, Little Red Cap?" "A good quarter of a league farther on farther on in the wood. Her house stands under the 3 large oak trees. The nut trees are just below. You surely must know it," replied Little Red Cap. The wolf thought to himself, "What a tender young creature, and what a nice plump mouthful. She will be better to eat than the old woman. I must act craftily so as to catch both." So he walked for a short time by the side of Little Red Cap, and then he said, "See, Little Red Cap, how pretty the flowers are about here. Why do you not look round? I believe, too, that you do not hear how sweetly the little birds are singing. You walk gravely along as if you were going to school, while everything else out here in the wood is merry." Little Red Cap raised her eyes, and when she saw the sunbeams dancing here and there through the trees, and pretty flowers growing everywhere, she thought, "Suppose I take Grandma a fresh nosegay, that would please her too. It is so early in the day that I shall still get there in good time." And so she ran from the path into the wood to look for flowers, and whenever she had picked one, she fancied that she saw a still prettier one farther on, and ran after it, and so got deeper and deeper into the wood. Farther on, and deeper and deeper into the wood. Meanwhile, the wolf ran straight to the grandmother's house and knocked at the door. "Who is there?" "Little Red Cap," replied the wolf. "She is bringing cake and wine. Open the door." "Lift the latch," called the grandmother. "I am too weak and cannot get up." The wolf lifted the latch. The door flew open, and without saying a word, he went straight to the grandmother's bed and devoured her. Then he put on her clothes, dressed himself in her cap, laid himself in the bed, and drew the curtains. Little Red Cap, however, had been running about picking flowers, and when she had gathered so many that she could carry no more, she remembered her grandmother, and set out on the way to her. She was so surprised to find the cottage door standing open, and when she went into the room she had such a strange feeling that she said to herself, "Oh dear, how uneasy I feel today, and at other times I like being with grandmother so much." She called out, "Good morning," but received no answer. So she went to the bed and drew back the curtains. There lay her grandmother with her cap pulled far over her face, and looking very strange. "Oh, grandmother," she said, "what big ears you have." "The better to hear you with, my child," was the reply. "But grandmother, what big eyes you have," she said. "The better to see you with, my dear." "But grandmother, what large hands you have, the better to hug you with." "Oh, but grandmother, what a terrible big mouth you have, the better to eat you with." And scarcely had the wolf said this, than with one bound he was out of bed and swallowed up Red Cap. When the wolf had appeased his appetite, he lay down again in the bed, fell asleep, and began to snore very loud. The hunter was just passing the house and thought to himself, "How the old woman is snoring! I must just see if she wants anything." So he went into the room, and when he came to the bed, he saw the wolf was lying in it. "Do I find you here, you old sinner?" said he. I have long sought you." And just as he was going to fire at him, it occurred to him that the wolf might have devoured the grandmother, and that she might still be saved. So he did not fire, but took a pair of scissors and began to cut open the stomach of the sleeping wolf. When he had made 2 snips, he saw the little Red Cap shining, and then he made 2 snips more, and the little girl sprang out crying, "Ah, how frightened I have been! How dark it was inside the wolf." And after that, the aged grandmother came out alive also, but scarcely able to breathe. Red Cap, however, quickly fetched great stones, with which they filled the wolf's body, and when he awoke he wanted to run away, but the stones were so heavy that he fell down at once and fell dead. Then all 3 were delighted. The hunter drew off the wolf's skin and went home with it. The grandmother ate the cake and drank the wine which Red Cap had brought, and revived. But Red Cap thought to herself, "As long as I live, I will never by myself leave the path to run into the wood where my mother has forbidden me to do so." It is also related that once when Red Cap was again taking cakes to the old grandmother, another wolf spoke to her and tried to entice her from the path. Red Cap, however, was on her guard and went straight forward on her way, and told her grandmother that she had met the wolf, and he had said good morning to her, but with such a wicked look in his eyes that if they had not been on the public road, she was certain he would have eaten her up. "Well," said the grandmother, "we will shut the door that he may not come in." Soon afterwards, the wolf knocked and cried, "Open the door, grandmother. I am Little Red Cap, and I am fetching you some cakes." But they did not speak or open the door. So the grey beard stole twice or thrice round the house, and at last jumped on the roof, intending to wait until Red Cap went home in the evening, and then to steal after her and devour her in the darkness. But the grandmother saw what was in his thoughts. In front of the house was a great big stone trough. So she said to the child, "Take the pail, Red Cap. I made some sausages yesterday, so carry the water in which I boiled them to the trough." Red Cap carried until the great trough was quite full. Then the smell of the sausages reached the wolf, and he sniffed and peeped down, and at last stretched out his neck so far that he could no longer keep his footing and began to slip and slipped down from the roof straight into the great trough and drowned. But Red Cap went joyously home and never did anything to harm anyone. Except the wolves. That took a dark turn. Yes, the Brothers Grimm, their fairy tales are much darker than Disney or nursery rhymes lead you to believe. So yeah. Pretty sure they have different versions. Yeah. No. Because I remember her bringing cookies. Yeah. It's usually some kind of sweets of some sorts. Cakes, cookies, desserts. I think of rolls, like bread rolls, I feel like has also been one of them. Were these like the original? Yes. I believe so. I wonder how dark Hansel and Gretel is. Very. Because that one is dark, at least as far as I remember. And I was not read the original. I can read the original. Would you like that? Yeah, let's see. Hansel and Gretel. And obviously these are like translated too, so they're not like the original, but they are kind of the origin. Nawi? I am Nawi. Thank you for the follow, Nawi. Hansel and Gretel, page 54. Hansel and Gretel. Near the great forest dwelt a poor woodcutter and his wife and his 2 children. The boy was named Hansel and the girl Gretel. He had little to bite and to break, and when great scarcity fell upon the land, he could no longer procure daily bread. Now, when he thought over this at night in his bed and tossed about in his anxiety, he groaned. Sorry. In his anxiety, he groaned and said to his wife, "What is to become of us? How are we to feed our poor children when we no longer have anything even for ourselves?" "I'll tell you what, husband," answered the woman. "Early tomorrow morning we will take the children out into the forest, where it is the thickest. There we will light a fire for them and give each of them 1 piece of bread, and then we will go to our work and leave them alone. They will not find the way home, and we shall be rid of them." Oh, what's the original language? I believe German. Thank you for the follow, Captain Fish. Welcome. "No, wife," said the man. "I will not do that. How can I bear to leave my children alone in the forest? The wild animals would soon come and tear them to pieces." Oh, I see. I believe anyways. Hello, Nightwolf. How did I not know this? I'm not sure. You too, Nightwolf. Thank you, Nari16, for the follow. Let's see. There's gotta be a preface, maybe. Maybe not. The fairy tales are recorded by the Brothers Grimm. The fairy tales recorded by the Brothers Grimm have been told so many times and in so many ways that almost everyone seems to know them by heart. However, the original stories as they appear in this volume are quite different from what you might expect. Instead of the blunted, dull, and safe versions that many are familiar with, what you will find here are the original, sharp, and somewhat dangerous fairy tales as recorded by the Brothers Grimm more than 200 years ago. The story of how these works came to permeate our culture and how they were changed over time and made, quote, safe for modern children is as compelling and as important as the fairy tales themselves. We'll come to that tale later on, though, since in order to understand it, we have to first understand how these stories came to be set down and published in the first place. Fairy tales are, after all, a form of folk tale. They were works of low culture, very unlike the stories of valiant knights and holy saints that the rich paid poets to compose in the Middle Ages, or later literature that was judged by the sophistication of its references and allusions. For centuries, fairy tales were usually considered outside the bounds of refined taste. This isn't to say that people weren't interested in them. They certainly were, but fairy tales weren't the sort of things about which serious people wrote serious, learned essays like this one. If anything, they were raw material to be polished up into works of real literature. It was a peculiar and exceptional set of circumstances and peculiar and exceptional set of brothers that made fairy tales the subject of study in and of themselves. The Grimm stories are, of course, quote, real literature. Since the first volume was published in the early 1800s, they have gone from being solely an heirloom of German culture to part of the world canon reimagined in novels, comics, movies, and animation. Clearly, they hold profound meaning for people of all ages and cultures. However, like all enduring classics, appreciation and interpretation of the Grimm's fairy tales have changed over the years. So yeah, I thought they were German. I was really worried that I misspoke. I was like, but I'm pretty sure they were. But yeah. Hello, would thou liketh another follower? If you would like tango music, 20k tango music. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But welcome in, Night Wolf. I hope you're doing well. Oh, you fool, said she, then we must all four die of hunger. You may as well plane the planks for our coffins. And she left him no peace until he consented. And thank you for the follow. Tango music, welcome in. But I feel sorry for the poor children, all the same, said the man. The two children had also not been able to sleep for hunger, and had heard what their stepmother had said to their father. Gretel wept bitter tears and said to Hansel, now all is over for us. Hush, Gretel, said Hansel, do not distress yourself. I will soon find a way to help us. And when the old folks had fallen asleep, he got up, put on his little coat, opened the door below, and crept outside. The moon shone brightly, and the white pebbles which lay in front of the house glittered like real silver pennies. Hansel stooped and put as many of them in the little pocket of his coat as he could possibly get in. Then he went back and said to Gretel, be comforted, little sister, and sleep in peace. God will not forsake us. And he lay down again in his bed. When the day dawned, but before the sun had risen, the woman came and awoke the two children, saying, get up, you sluggards. We are going into the forest to fetch wood. She gave each a little piece of bread and said, there is something for your dinner, but do not eat it up before then, for you will get nothing else. Gretel took the bread under her apron, as Hansel had the stones in his pocket. Then they all set out together on the way to the forest. When they had walked a short time, Hansel stood still and peeped back at the house, and did so again and again. His father said, Hansel, what are you looking at there and staying behind for? Mind yourself and do not forget how we use our legs. Ah, father, said Hansel, I am looking at my little white cat, which is sitting on the roof and wants to say goodbye to me. The wife said, fool, that is not your little cat. That is the morning sun which is shining on the chimneys. Hansel, however, had not been looking back at the cat, but had been constantly throwing one of the white pebble stones out of his pocket on the road. When they had reached the middle of the forest, the father said, now, children, pile up some wood, and I will light a fire, that you may not be cold. Hansel and Gretel gathered brushwood together as high as a little hill. The brushwood was was lighted, and when the flames were burning very high, the woman said, "Now, children, lay yourselves down by the fire and rest. We will go into the forest and cut some wood. When we have done, we will come back and fetch you away." Thank you, Fiksuj, for the follow. Psst, stop. Hansel and Gretel sat by the fire, and when noon came, each ate a little piece of bread, and as they heard the strokes of the wood axe, they believed that their father was near. It was not, however, the axe. It was a branch which he had fastened to a withered tree, which the wind was blowing backwards and forwards, and as they had been sitting such a long time, their eyes shut with fatigue, and they fell fast asleep. When they last awoke, it was dark. When at last they awoke, it was already dark night. Gretel began to cry and said, "How are we to get out of the forest now?" But Hansel comforted her and said, "Just wait a little until the moon has risen, and then we will soon find the way." And when the full moon had risen, Hansel took his little sister by the hand and followed the pebbles, which shone like newly coined silver pieces, and showed them the way. They walked the whole night long, and by break of day came once more to their father's house. They knocked at the door, and when the woman opened it and saw that it was Hansel and Gretel, she said, "You naughty children, why have you slept so long in the forest? We thought you were never coming back at all." The father, however, rejoiced, for it had cut him to the heart to leave them behind alone. Not long afterwards, there was once more great scarcity in all parts, and the children heard their mother saying at night to their father, "Everything is eaten again. We have 1/2 loaf left, and after that there is no more." "The children must go. We will take them farther into the wood, so that they will not find their way out again. There is no other means of saving ourselves." The man's heart was heavy, and he thought, "It would be better for you to share the last mouthful with your children." The woman, however, would listen to nothing that he had to say, but scolded and reproached him. He who says A must say B likewise, and as he had yielded the first time, he had to do so the second time also. The children were, however, still awake, and had heard their conversation. When the old folks were asleep, Hansel got up again and wanted to go out and pick pebbles as he had done before, but the woman had locked the door, and Hansel could not get out. Nevertheless, he comforted his little sister and said, "Don't cry, Gretel. Go sleep quietly. The good God will help us." Early in the morning came the woman, and took the children out of their beds. Their bit of bread was given to them, but it was still smaller than the time before. On the way out into the forest, Hansel crumpled his in his pocket, and often stood still and threw a morsel on the ground. "Hansel, why do you stop and look around?" said the father. "Go on." "I am looking back at my little pigeon, which is sitting on the roof and wants to say goodbye to me," answered Hansel. "Simpleton," said the woman. "This is not your little pigeon. This is the morning sun that is shining on the chimney." Hansel, however, little by little, threw all the crumbs on the path. The woman led the children still deeper into the forest, where they had never in their lives been before. Then a great fire was again made, and the mother said, Just sit there, you children, and when you are tired you may sleep a little. We are going into the forest to cut wood, and in the evening when we are done we will come and fetch you away." When it was noon, Gretel shared her piece of bread with Hansel, who had scattered his by the way. Then they fell asleep, and the evening came and went, but no one came to the poor children. They did not wake until it was dark night, and Hansel comforted his little sister, and said, "Just wait, Gretel, until the moon rises, and then we shall see the crumbs of bread, which I have strewn about. They will show us our way home again." Hansel is smart, yes. When the moon came, they set out, but they found no crumbs, for the many thousands of birds which fly about the woods and fields had picked them all up. Hansel said to Gretel, "We shall soon find the way," but they did not find it. They walked the whole night and all the next day, too, from morning till evening, but they did not get out of the forest, and they were very hungry. No birds, I know. For they had found nothing to eat but 2 or 3 berries which grew on the ground. And as they were so weary that their legs would carry them no longer, they lay down beneath a tree and fell asleep. It was now 3 mornings since they had left their father's house. They began to walk again, but they always got deeper into the forest, and if help did not come soon, they would die of hunger and weariness. When it was midday, they saw a beautiful snow-white bird sitting on a bough, which sang so delightfully that they stood still and listened to it. And when it had finished its song, it spread its wings and flew away before them. And they followed it until they reached a little house, on the roof of which it alighted. And when they came quite up to the little house, they saw it was built of bread and covered with cakes, but that the windows were of clear sugar. "We will set to work on that," said Hansel, "and have a good meal. I will eat a bit of the roof, and you, Gretel, can eat some of the window. It will taste sweet." Hansel. "Hi, we are arsonists. How are you? Hello, hello." Eat them, and it will be quite sweet. Hansel reached above and broke off a little of the roof to try how it tasted, and Gretel leaned against the window and nibbled at the panes. Then a soft voice cried from the room, "Nibble, nibble, gnaw, who is nibbling at my little house?" The children answered, "The wind, the wind, the heaven-born wind." Pretty sure that movie they made this, Hansel got diabetes or something. I don't think I've ever seen a movie for Hansel and Gretel. I know the story of it, where it's the witch in the woods, and she goes to eat the children because they ate her house. And then she died in an oven. But that's all I knew. It had the dude from the Avengers. Oh. I didn't realize that Disney made it. It was a witch hunter movie. Oh. Hawkeye. Oh, okay. Like, was it an actual Marvel's movie that they adapted, or is it specifically a Hansel and Gretel movie? Because neither would actually surprise me. Specifically Hansel and Gretel. Oh, okay. Oh, so it must be a newer thing. Is it? It's probably along the lines of it was them growing up. Oh, okay. Older-ish. Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, it might be like how they're doing real life or live action adaptations of movies. But maybe. Diabetes, that's... I guess so. And went on eating without disturbing themselves. Hansel, who thought the roof tasted very nice, tore down a great piece of it, and Gretel pushed out the whole of one round window pane, sat down and enjoyed herself with it. Suddenly the door opened, and a very, very old woman, who supported herself on crutches, came creeping out. Hansel and Gretel were so terribly frightened that they let fall what they had in their hands. The old woman, however, nodded her head and said, "Oh, you dear children, who has brought you here? Do come in and stay with me. No harm shall happen to you." She took them both by the hand and led them into her little house. Then good food was set before them, milk and pancakes with sugar, apples, and nuts. Afterwards, 2 pretty little beds were covered with with clean white linen, and Hansel and Gretel lay down in them, and thought they were in heaven. The old woman had only pretended to be so kind. She was, in reality, a wicked witch who lay in wait for children, and had only built the little house of bread in order to entice them there. When a child fell into her power, she killed it, cooked it, and ate it. And that was the feast, and that was a feast day with her. 2013. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that they had even made that. Witches have red eyes and cannot see far, but they have a keen scent like the beasts, and are aware when human beings draw near. When Hansel and Gretel came into her neighborhood, she laughed maliciously and said mockingly, "I have them, they shall not escape me again." What are we listening to? Do I need my blankie? Hansel and Gretel by the Brothers Grimm. And grim they are. Excuse me. Early in the morning, before the children were awake, she was already up, and she saw both of them sleeping and looking so pretty. With their plump red cheeks, she muttered to herself, "That will be a dainty mouthful." Then she seized Hansel with her shriveled hand, carried him into a little stable, and shut him in with a grated door. He might scream as he liked, that was of no use. Then she went to Gretel, shook her until she awoke and cried, "Get up, lazy thing, fetch some water and cook something good for your brother. He is in the stable outside and is to be made fat. When he is fat, I will eat him." Gretel began to weep bitterly, but it was all in vain. She was forced to do what the wicked witch ordered her to. And now the best food was cooked for poor Hansel, but Gretel got nothing but crab shells. Every morning the woman crept to the little stable and cried, "Hansel, stretch out your finger that I may feel if you will soon be fat." Hansel, however, stretched out a little bone to her, and the old woman, who had dim eyes, could not see it, and thought it was Hansel's finger, and was astonished that there was no way of fattening him. When 4 weeks had gone by, and Hansel still stayed thin, she was seized with impatience and would not wait any longer. "Now, Gretel," she cried to the girl, "be active and bring some water. Let Hansel be fat or lean tomorrow. I will kill him and cook him." Hello, Aether Tales, how are you? Ah, how the poor little sister did lament when she had to fetch the water, and how her tears did flow down her cheeks. "Dear God, do help us," she cried. "If the wild beasts in the forest had devoured us, at least we should have died together." "Just keep your noise to yourself," said the old woman. "All that won't help you at all." Early in the morning, Gretel had to go out and hang up the cauldron with the water and light the fire. "We will bake first," said the old woman. I have already heated the oven and kneaded the dough." She pushed poor Gretel out to the oven, from which flames of fire were already darting. "Creep in," said the witch, "and see if it's properly heated, so that we can shut the bread in." And once Gretel was inside, she intended to shut the oven and let her bake in it. Then she would eat her too. But Gretel saw what she had in her mind, and said, I do not know how I am to do it. How do you get in?" "Silly goose," said the old woman. "The door is big enough. Just look in. I can get in myself." And she crept up and thrust her head into the oven. Then Gretel gave her a push and drove her far into it, and shut the iron door and fastened the bolt. I'm doing well. I'm hearing one of my favorite fairy tales. Oh, I'm glad. Gretel Loki. Yes, very smart children. I feel like you have to be if your parents are conniving assholes. Oh, then she began to howl quite horribly, but Gretel ran away, and the godless witch was miserably burnt to death. Gretel, however, ran like lightning to Hansel, opened his little stable, and cried, "Hansel, we are saved, the old witch is dead." Then Hansel sprang out like a bird from its cage when the door was opened for it. How they did rejoice and embrace each other and dance about and kiss each other, and they had no longer any need to fear her. They went into the witch's house as they had no long oh wait and as they had no longer any need to fear her, they went into the witch's house, and in every corner there stood chests full of pearls and jewels. "These are far better than pebbles," said Hansel, and thrust into his pocket whatever could be got in, and Gretel said, "I too will take something home with me," and filled her pinafore full. "But now we will go away," said Hansel, "that we may get out of the witch's forest." When they had walked for 2 hours, they came to a great body of water. "We cannot get over," said Hansel. "I see no foot plank and no bridge." "And no boat crosses either," answered Gretel, but a white duck is swimming there. If I ask her, she will help us over." Then she cried, little duck, do you see? Hansel and Gretel are waiting for you. There's never a plank or a bridge in sight. Take us across on your back so white." So they became rich. Yes, if you are smart and kill an old lady, you too shall be rich. Probably. The duck came to them, and Hansel seated himself on its back. Noted, yes. Now I need to go and find an old woman to push into an oven. Excuse me. Although I guess you have to be smart. I forgot about the first half that I mentioned, so maybe I shouldn't go push an old lady into an oven. The duck came to them, and Hansel seated himself on his back and told his sister to sit by him. "No," replied Gretel, that will be too heavy for the little duck. She shall take us across one after another." The good little duck did so. When they were safely across and had walked for a short time, the forest seemed to be more and more familiar to them, and at length they saw from afar their father's house. Then they began to run, rushed into the parlor, and threw themselves into their father's arms. The man had not known one happy hour since he had left the children in the forest. The woman, however, was dead. Gretel emptied her pinafore until pearls and precious stones ran about the room, and Hansel threw one handful after the other out of his pocket to add to them. Then all anxiety was at the end, and they lived together in perfect happiness. My tale is done. See the mouse run. Whoever catches it may make himself a big fur cap out of it. How the hell did the mom die? Old age? Maybe? With her house, that old lady was a sugar mummy. Literally and figuratively, for her windows were made of sugar. But, I don't know, conveniently, because the husband killed her, old age, and she had the riches, so yeah. Sugar mama in literal and figurative ways. Yeah, I do like the originals. They're a lot darker than like the fairy tales you tell children, but I don't know. I do feel like there is something to be said for old folk tales, and telling children that monsters are real. Because, nowadays we tell kids they're not real. But there's something to be said for, bad children don't get good things versus bad children get eaten by witches and the wolves in the woods. So, I think the darker stories are better. The darker stories are better stories, yes. And I was one of those kids that was like, actually, this is incorrect. So the fact that, that we tell the stories and they're not quite the same, bothered me as a child. I didn't know, the extent of how dark they were, but I did know that, the originals versus the Disney adaptations were not the same. And if I remember correctly, like the Little Mermaid, she like it's more than like it ends up like a Romeo and Juliet, I believe, that the Little Mermaid ends up like killing herself and like throwing herself overboard or something because she's so heartbroken over the prince. Sure, Cinderella was dark. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they cut off their toes to try and fit their feet into the glass slipper. I think the stepsisters like cut off their toes and parts of their foot, if I remember correctly. But you know that probably would not make a good Disney movie. Crazy but cool, yeah. I think also I grew up in the 90s, early 2000s-ish, right? And so like the media I consumed, I feel like was really traumatizing if you think about it. Cuz like the Brave Little Toaster was dark and scary. I feel like it's like the Brave Little Toaster, Fern Gully, Dumbo. What year are you? 90s. I'm pretty smack dab in the middle of millennials, I feel like. But I was raised kind of like a Gen X-ish, like latchkey kid kind of thing. So I'm like very year-wise rooted in the 90s, but or very rooted in millennial, but was raised by boomers like a latchkey kid. So yeah, it was the rock era. Yeah, it was a different time. A different time. Let's see. Hello, Berturuga? Berturuga? You've returned. Welcome back. Let's see. Sometimes I miss those times. Sometimes, especially being in America, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, simpler times, I guess. Bertu is fine. How's it going? It's going okay. We just got done reading some fairy tales. I was gonna see who all. I believe I was probably going to raid Melty, but I'm deciding maybe we should go another 15 minutes, make it an even 20, or make it an even 2 hours. Let's see. Nah, 20 it is. I meant make it an even 2 hours. If we do 20, then that's 5 over. And that's not a nice round even 2 hours. Hello, little monster number 3. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. How was your stream? So should I go for that other model? I feel like it looks pretty similar. And then at least I won't accidentally... Or there's less of a likeliness that I could accidentally flash someone. Having a lovely day. It's been okay. It was a bit stressful, but do you have a preview of it? Yeah, I can show the I don't think I have like the ability to show the video very well, but let me see. Like I don't have a preview of it as like something I can try. What I wish, but let's see. Then we can do like slightly larger. Thank you for the follow, nobody Mara. And thank you for the follow, that chip guy. What kind of chips? Yeah, she's actually wearing clothes. I was thinking of it. It comes with like emotes, so then there would at least be emotes that I don't have to draw. I don't have a whole lot of free time, so that's why we only have 2. And I thought it looked similar. It had similar vibes, but it is a little bit of a downgrade in the brassiere area, the bosom area, the booba area. But as a result, also probably less likely to get banned. Oh, I didn't realize she had human ears and elf ears. I think she also has like a fox ear toggle or something like that. She's got a little something on her shoulder. I wonder if the outfit changes. Ah, I don't know if it does. The hair, there seems to be like the hair change. But I think the outfit stays about the same. There is still one exposed thigh, but obviously thighs look amazing. Yeah. It looks like there's like a blue or yellow toggle, but you can recolor eyes. But I don't think the outfit changes. But yeah. Humanish eyes, I like those black ones. She's Genshin coded. Wait, I hadn't seen that before. The eye visor's fun. Oh yeah, the little eye mask. I don't think it comes down though. Oh wait, no, it's different. I have like this. Small or large booba is good booba. Small thighs though. Yeah, but I was told that thighs could get you banned. Even glasses. Yeah. And like I have some toggles here. I've got like a leaning forward toggle and leaning back. There's the ASMR one. There's a tablet, like a drawing tablet. And a controller. And a microphone. And then like the face ones. But the outfit, I can't take my jacket off on Twitch or I will get banned. Whereas like that one, if thighs are what get you banned, then at least the thighs you can keep hidden. The booba, if I accidentally move my jacket, like I have to stay pretty low. Oh shush, tummy. Yeah, even then, because those frills don't cover a whole lot, and yeah. And I don't want to accidentally bump, you know? So I feel like that would be at least a little bit safer. That's ball. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't think I don't know contemporary slang. Tell me you're old without telling me you're old, right? The model is cool though. Yeah. It's good. Oh, okay. So, I guess here. Should we do a poll? And then we'll do a 3-minute. Okay. There we go. Pringles. What kind of Pringles? The original Pringles? You're like Cavalier's Brawn. Let's see. Hey. Hey. What's Cavalier's Brawn? Only voting new because I want you to stream forever. Well, this model's not like an old model. Oh, I guess as far as so I don't get banned, yeah. Hey. 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 2016 Curry. Prime Tiger Woods. What's 2016 Curry? Like the food curry? Eh. Here, let me use this. Let me use a slang term in order to describe the slang term. Prime Tiger Woods, I guess, makes sense. The basketball player. Oh, I don't know sports. I'm so sorry. I'm so uneducated with sports. I told you I was not that smart. You're the one that said I was. So if anything, it's your fault. It's your fault for assuming I have a brain. Let's see, where is that? How do I turn it off again? There we go. Doing your best. I am doing the best that I can. That's a pretty low bar to set. But maybe it's because I'm short that the bar is so low. Stephen Curry. Oh, okay. Okay. I see. Well, here. Should we do that? Maybe we can set that up. That's not very ASMR either. Let's see. Okay. I'll do that. Okay. Let's see. And then I feel like at least changing it is not like a huge departure from what I was. I contemplated this one. There was like a witch. But she looks a little bit different. contemplated her. But I was like, that looks quite different. It's a little bit harder to be like, who are you again? Oh no, PTSD. What kind of PTSD? Although I feel like having microphones is kind of lost on me. That one has the boobas. Yeah, I guess so. Same boobas. Different color palette and feel. I do find it interesting though that a lot of models, they'll have people, a lot of people will have like the character writing or drawing something, and it often is left-handed, which is surprising because obviously, like, people who are left-handed make up 10-ish% of the population. But it always seems like when people draw either emotes or something, that they draw them left-handed. And I don't know if people mean to do that or, you know? Oh, do we like the blue one better? Oops. Could be inverted. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe. Like, obviously you can just kind of do it yourself, right? But what does she even do? Her best. Yes. That one has the boobs. Oh wait, so what did the poll end up being? Does it tell me? It just said it ended. Does it have the results? Oh, there he is. Yes, change. Oh, okay. It was yes. Okay. Well, then I guess the blue one or the elf one? The first one looks more cute. I will say at least like the first one that has that cherry blossom and like my starting screen. I don't know. Repost. feel like I'm speaking a different language. I'm back. Hi, back. I'm even. First one looks more like you right now. I don't know if you have a preference to this model vibe or color palette though. I don't know. Well, the original of this one is actually pink. I just recolored it because it was I don't know, I like purple better. But repost, retweet means I agree. Oh, okay. Both are good. Yeah. I just figured the one that that first one I chose just because I was like, well, it looks the closest to this one, so that like if there's a change, it's not as much of a change. It's just more covered up, but the booba are smaller. But I don't know how important booba are. Either way, it's more booba than I have IRL. I'm living vicariously through these 2D animated women. Well, I put the other one in the cart, so we'll just do that. You have big personality. Apparently. I have big taste in aesthetics or something, maybe. I don't need that. Okay, so that, and then confirm. Oh. My phone has decided today that it doesn't want to receive, or like Google Fi is having troubles with their service or something. So it kept telling me that my SIM was inactive, and I panicked. But then like Twitch is like, hey, we're gonna send you a text message for your two-factor, and I go, I can't receive text messages. So I was all worried that I couldn't I wasn't gonna be able to log in. Because it was not giving me or it was not sending text messages, and I couldn't do that if... Why didn't you ask for my two-factor for this? I feel like that's a little worrisome. I could be wrong. Okay, or not, whatever. I'm not gonna complain, but... Okay. So there's that. And then... vent, 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 vent. Oh my gosh, why are there so many downloads for this? Bean cures depression. Two big personalities, yes. Big personalities that Twitch would probably not be happy if I accidentally toggled. Especially with how flouncy they are. Essence, then choose a model. Like Cherry Blossom, then choose the first. Eddie KF4 Clayless. Maybe. Can't you change the recoil? Oh, probably. But I already don't trust her to download non-suspicious stuff only. What? You don't trust me? I mean, I'm gonna go marry somebody, a prince. Yeah, I got a lovely email. Clicked all the links. I did. It told me it was urgent. You know? Because I don't want to upset the IRS, right? It's the Internal Revenue Service.com. They sent me a link, and I didn't want to get in trouble on my taxes. Yeah. So I had to make sure. I didn't want to get audited. Showing the iPhone and a house on the beach. Not the house. That would be really nice though. Although I'm not really a sunny person. But yeah, my iPhone should be coming soon. And it got a marriage proposal from a prince. Nigerian prince, maybe? I think. Yeah. But that was after I got a call that my grandmother was held hostage, I think. Bean's got a single dad near you message. I love single dads. They're usually easier than married men. Married dads are a little bit more difficult. Everybody's in on it. Yeah. See? Single dads listen to dad rock. Yeah. And who can turn down a dad bod? Who could turn down a dad bod? Besides, I need free things like a free iPhone or a free house on the beach. I got scammed out of money. Married is 1v1, single is a battle royale. Exactly, I don't want to be a home wrecker. And if I wreck homes, it's because I broke something, not because I ruined a marriage. I'm a home wrecker in the physical way, not the relationship way. Yeah. Did I almost set my room on fire because I was a stupid child who thought maybe I could light a paper towel on fire and didn't realize it would burn so quickly? Yes. But that was when I was a child. True story, though. I wonder what would happen, and it was like, there's a bathroom right next door. Maybe you should have done that in the sink. But nope. Nope. Truly inspiring. Sometimes I have one brain cell. Sometimes that brain cell goes on a walk. I think it went out for milk and cigarettes about 30 years ago. Yeah. You know? A whole one. Yeah. Some people are lucky to have two to rub together. I have one manning down the fort. I'm not sure what fort, but some fort. Throwing kids around does build some natural muscles. Yeah, I would think. When I'm a dad, I don't want a dad bod. Nobody does. Besides, children are like free weights. So you build up your muscles as they grow, right? So you don't have to get like a weight set, they just get bigger. And then you just have to get stronger. I'm worried for you. What? Trying to throw my 13-year-old traits. Trying to throw my takes a lot more effort, especially when she struggles. What's the hardest part about being a parent? They grow. The fight back, I feel like, probably, right? There was a joke in there that I tried to make, and it was dead on arrival. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. is this? Oh, fancy. I don't know if it looks very good though. Sorry, I got distracted. Let's see. Is this the model? No, it is not. Is this one the model? Wait, excuse me? Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot that there's a launcher. Uh-huh. Order number, authorization. Oh, okay, so I can't set this up right now. Please make sure to send us a private message. Oh, okay. So I need to do that. Oops. Uh-huh. Let's see. How do I do that? See what's my order number. Okay. So okay. Hello Forte, welcome in. Okay, so apparently I have to wait for a message back from the seller to be able to. I've never done this before, but let's see if Melty will allow us. Okay, so yeah, be good for Melty. She's gonna get scammed. Probably not, most likely, maybe, hopefully. I don't know, we'll see. If I come back crying, it's because I got scammed. Thank you for the stream. Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Have a good one. Bye bye bye. I hope to be back. Today's Tuesday, right? Maybe Thursday or Friday, maybe? I'll try to remember to post a story. So yeah. So goodbye, good night. Mwah. Have a good one.